Here's Barkley, a little shovel, looking for an edge, gets it. Saquon Barkley, first down.
Turn that off, dude. The fuck, we couldn't stop Dick last year. We couldn't stop Dick against the run. Nothing. It wasn't even. Ice Spice would have ran for 65 yards on us. She would have. She would have put her head down. She would have trucked one of our D linemen. I would have ran for 40. Like, Jesus, she would have ran for 20 more yards than me. She got a strong lower base. But coming into this season, right, and much kudos to Adam Peters because, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, they heavily emphasize getting bigger bodies on the D-line, improving our front seven, and I feel like they did that. I feel like they did, dude. And you know what? I think the question is, like, obviously we're going to improve on our run defense this upcoming year. The main question is, how much will we improve on it? How much? Because we went from ranking 30th last year against the run, 30th in rushing yards per game last year. When I saw that, I was like, geez, there's two worse teams than us? Are you freaking kidding me? The fuck? But yeah, man, John Keim dropped this bomb-ass article, and I figured I should share with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. So I'm going to put chunks of the articles right here, but, yeah, man, yeah, Ice Spice would have definitely ran for, like, at least 65. I'd say 65 on 10 carries. She would have had one long carry for 40 yards, and the rest would be like 2 yards per game. All right, anyways, so basically, John Keim writes here, starts off by saying, if you can't stop the run, you can't win games. And that's according to Dorrance Armstrong. And I'm going to put clips of the article right here. That's why our big focus this year is to be able to stop the run a lot better than we did last year. Again, football 101. We all know this, but obviously, I feel like we all can thoroughly agree with Dorrance Armstrong. John Keim dropped this nice stat for us. He blessed us with this stat. And I figured, I think this stat was all across Adam Peters' and Dan Quinn's minds all offseason long. Of the top 10 teams against the run last year, 9 of them made the postseason. Of the bottom 10 against the run last year, only 1 made the postseason. And that was us. That was us, dude. It's a hard life to sustain, he writes, as only 4 teams in the past 3 years made the postseason, finishing bottom 10 against the run. Luke, winning teams will run down the ball on your throat. Winning teams, in order to win games, they're going to run the ball down your throat. They don't have to be top 5, top 10 running the ball, but they're effective when it counts the most. But anyways, he continues to write down, as one member of the organization stated, so much of the issue stemmed against being able to stop Barkley. Saquon Barkley last year was a minority owner. I'm going to be straightforward. I am a DMV, Maryland kid, Commanders die hard. Saquon Barkley was a minority owner last year for us. This man, in every single game, wrecked. And I'm going to get to the stats right now. In 3 games versus Washington, Barkley ran for a combined 414 yards and 7 touchdowns, averaging 5.9 yards per carry. The Eagles topped 200 yards rushing each time. Lord. But I will admit, though, I guess this is my homerism involved, but a lot of them were long-ass runs by Saquon Barkley. There were like stints here and there that we, not stopped him. We never stopped him, but, he did. I do remember him having like 60-yard runs, 50-yard runs, but still, that's not an excuse, but, that's just my homerism, I guess. But still, yeah, he was a minority owner, dude. He was a minority owner last year. But not this year. Not this year. We're going to stop him. But yeah, man, Joe Witt Jr. said, we didn't play the run well enough last year, and I thought we should have. Some of the things that we're doing along the front for the run game, we have changed, and something we have adjusted. It's good to know. Self-awareness is key. The scheme tweaks might be harder to detect than what else they did. They added size. We added Deron Payne, weighs 320 pounds. Jonathan Allen was listed at 285 last year. He did it because he wanted to have quickness. Maintain his quickness, sorry. Newton, 295. Now, Newton, this offseason, was praised by DQ because he got, strong. So DQ was like, this guy looks bigger. He looks stronger lower extremities. So, just another year of eating frozen chicken burritos, and this man is stronger. That's what chicken burritos will do to you. But, also because of injuries, obviously Dante Fowler, played a lot more than he should have. 267 pounds. That wasn't going to cut it, God bless Fowler. Actually, no. Actually, no, he's a child of God. So God bless Fowler. But like, he's in Cowboys right now. But like he should have only played in nickel situations. This man was sometimes playing out there in the first and second down. I was like, what the fuck? They're obviously gonna run his way. But anyways, he finished with 531 snaps last year. By he mean Dante Fowler, which was more than double his total from the previous season with Dallas. In 2023, he played at least 20 snaps 3 times last season. He did so 16 times and 11 times topped 30 snaps. Again, that's more of just like indicative of like our D-line depth last year. Clelin Ferrell also got injured. I'll get to him a little bit later on, but he just played more than he should have. Okay, we all know Fowler could never stop against the run even before he got to us last year. But anyways, John Keim in his bomb-ass article continues to write, you can't really blame it on one player, and he says it right here too, and I thoroughly agree with him. But now we sign guys like Javon Kinlaw, who is 6'5", 319 pounds. Eddie Goldman, 6'3", 320 pounds. Deatrich Wise, 6'5", 280. Now, Eddie Goldman, he's coming back into football shape. But you know what? I feel like some people are not, they're not counting him out, but they're just like a little bit wary on him because, last year he came back with the Falcons and he's doing his thing, like after being MIA for 2 years, not playing football. Hopefully, after 1 year of football under your belt, now he's feeling, now everything is coming back to him. Now, like he's getting to football shape. And maybe, because his bread and butter was stopping the run before, he retired. So maybe Eddie Goldman returns back. That would be a dream scenario. But, they're saying here, Payne said, man, we got some big old dudes. They're huge and strong and can get active. It's going to be fun. Washington last year allowed 3.18 yards before contact per rush in 2024. Only 2 teams were worse. Dude, there was freaking lanes, HOV lanes in our freaking D-line. HOV. But I need 2 people can go together. It was like, I got to continue. I got to, but like, they're saying that they can use Goldman as the nose tackle in various sets, giving them a sturdier look in the past. They plan to use Kinlaw inside as well, but he can play on the outside as well. Quinn has also called Deatrich Wise a strong edge setter, something the Commanders lacked last year. Clelin Ferrell missed games last year, and I was talking about him earlier, but like he missed 3 games because of a knee issue and was limited in the final 4 games in the regular season and played a combined snaps of 64 snaps. Clelin Ferrell was signed predominantly to be a strong edge setter. I'm assuming because they knew already with Fowler that he wasn't going to be able to do that. But he got injured. So now he's back. He's healthy. Maybe he contributes more. But yeah, the depth right now with Wise, Ferrell, Armstrong, among others, will help. Keim continues to write, basically, a nice little nugget right here. I feel like we all know this because we all heard Joe Witt Jr. talk about this regarding how Jordan McGee, in his rookie year, they were planning on making some packages just for him so that he can get on the field with Luvu and Wagner still on it, or possibly supplanting Wagner in passing situations. But John Keim writes here, after an impressive start early in training camp last year, Jordan McGee was limited to 8 games only. But Witt said the Commanders plan to use him in various 3 linebacker packages when other teams played 2 or 3 tight end sets. With that in mind, we allowed 5.4 yards per carry when facing these looks. Now, however, in the past 8 games, including 3 postseason contests, the Commanders allowed 7.2 yards per rush versus those formations. And obviously the Eagles dominated us. The Eagles wrecked us. The Eagles, they did. On the ground, they did. But if we want to unseat the Eagles, we got to stop the run. And he believes, and also, Joe Witt believes, that what they're probably going to do is they're going to have more 3 linebacker sets with Jordan McGee on the field alongside Frankie Luvu and Bobby Wagner. This is how much trust they have in Jordan McGee. If you have a player on your team and you're like, no, this guy's the real deal, you're going to find ways to get him on the field. Like, actions speak louder than words. They're telling me, and I mean, they said it already, but like, they really like Jordan McGee, dude. Jordan McGee could be a big help to us this year. I think he can be one of those guys like Weapon X on defense. The Eagles ran the ball versus us 59 times with either 2 or 3 tight end sets, and they averaged 6.1 yards per carry with 8 touchdowns in those roles. Again, but obviously, we need the front seven to work more together, more communication. But he's saying that Armstrong is saying we gotta trust each other and all that stuff. And he ends the article. Bomb ass article. John Kime, thank you very much, dude. He's my fave. Him and Nikki. But yeah, my main question to Commanders fans is, I feel like obviously we're going to improve on run defense. The question is, how much are we going to improve? I feel like the key factors is the free agent additions, Johnny Newton breaking out, Daron Payne breaking out, which he has been looking really nice in offseason in minicamp and OTAs, and then Jordan McGee. That's our front seven. So they're banking on Newton breaking out, Daron Payne coming back to form, which, I mean, it looks like he's hopefully doing so. It looks like there's positive notes on that. The free agent additions who are predominantly signed to beef up our D-line, and now it looks like possibly Jordan McGee as well. Bobby Wagner, he was good against the run last year. Passing situations, yeah. But, they're going to roll the dice with that. And in pass rushing situations, they're going to rely on Armstrong, Jacob Martin, and Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Will they sign a vet free agent defensive end? We don't know yet. But yeah, man, ideally, I feel like if we don't even have to go top 10 against the run. Just go top 15. I feel like our secondary is going to be, if all goes well, Marshall comes back to form, which things are looking like it will. Trey Amos, and then Sanders Quan Martin takes another leap, which I feel like he will. I feel like our secondary will be good. Just get the defense to top 15 against the run. Top 15, that's all I want. Top 15. Obviously, anything more than that's awesome. But let's just get top 15, dude. If we want to go where we want to go, this rush defense needs to improve. You guys saw this stat. We were the only team in the bottom 10 against the run last year in the playoffs. That needs to change. And I feel like it's going to. But the only question is just how much will it improve by. But yeah, man, you guys let me know what you guys think. Do you think we did enough? I think this is probably the biggest question mark of our team. Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver, we all know what we're doing on offense. We all know we're going to cook on offense. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Till next video. Peace, y'all.